I'm walking through the streets of the city in Mexico where I live, and I wanted to talk to you about shedding. I've been talking about that a lot because I feel like I know that as the year comes to an end, it's like the last 3 months of shedding of our soul, really wringing out all of the old identities, the old self-concepts, all of the old programming, the old fears, even all of the memories. Not that you're going to forget, although sometimes that might happen, right? Sometimes it's good to forget certain things, but that the charge of the memories, right? Maybe there's things that you tried in the past that didn't work out, or people judged you severely, and that memory is in your energy body. And so there's this huge release that's happening right now. I hope you're not getting dizzy as I walk and so I want to talk about that because I think this is the point when we're in the shedding. Think of a snake, right? We know this is the year of the snake. And it's like you've shed already so much. So first of all, like truly, just give yourself a huge embrace, high five, pat in the back, whatever, to recognize how much you have released. I'm going to cross the street, so I want to pay attention because that would really suck if I got hit by a car while I was doing this. So really, so much gratitude for just everything you've already released. And here we have like this final layers that are like, they're clinging on, but they're ready to be released. And so, look at this beautiful pink wall. It's one of my favorite things of living here is all of the color. Anyway, pink, heart chakra. And so I think the main message right now that I want to offer you is if you're in pain, or even if it just feels like, you're walking through mud, or it feels like things aren't going as quick as you want them to, or you have self-doubt, or whatever it is, I invite you to see those as signs that you're actually on the verge of the breakthrough, because that's what happens. Like right in that moment where we're almost there. It's like most of the skin has fallen off, the old skin, and you're almost there. And so what happens in that point? In that point, the ego structure, right? And we all have an ego as long as we're living a human life. Yes, we are divine beings. We have an ego structure. And that ego is like feeling it's gonna die, right? Right at that point where you're about to do the leap into this next self-concept, next identity. And so the ego structure gets really loud. That's at this point. And I feel like there's so many teachers right now and coaches and guides that are talking about this, which is so amazing because we feel it. We're going through it. So I didn't even introduce myself. So for anyone who's new to my work, my name is Lisa Espinosa. I'm a spiritual career coach for helpers, change makers, visionaries, whatever label you have. You don't have to have a label, but I know here in the earth plane, we often have one, right? So a lot of my clients are other coaches or therapists, or maybe in just a whole different field, but you've always had this calling, this knowing that you're here to help humanity. You're here to birth new paradigms, new solutions. And so right now, especially as a helper, this is intensified. This is like, why? Because you have a divine assignment, you have a divine mission, you have a sacred mission. You said yes, right, to this mission of like, yes, I'm going to come into the earth at this time when there's so much polarity, there's so much suffering, so much lower, in some ways, so much lower vibrations. And I'm going to be one of those people that anchors in a higher frequency of love, of unity consciousness, of wise compassion, of creative solutions, of all of that. So when we have that mission, it means we're also signing up for these cycles of death and rebirth, especially in a year 9 in numerology. This is a year 9, a year of completion. And in the Chinese astrology, it's a year of the snake. It's a year of shedding, right? So this is like if you think about your curriculum, like this year was highlighted as like, okay, this is going to be a year, and I don't want to call it intense. I don't want to put that label on it, but a year of a lot of release Why? Because we're preparing for next year. Next year's the year of the fire horse. I mean, I won't even get into that so much. It's also year one, new beginnings. Like next year is really set up for all the helpers in the world to be in that spotlight, lose the fear of our voice, of taking up space, and really be the lighthouses we're here to be. I'm not saying you're not it already, but this is like a next level, because that's the level of light that's needed. So back to now, in this moment, if you're feeling the suffering, the excruciating pain, or even just the disconnect, the heaviness or confusion that happens often before the breakthrough, first of all, know it's normal. See it as a good sign. Like, what if you saw it as a good sign? Because this is where I see, when I coach my clients, often what I see, the bells, the church bells are going. What I see happens is we get to this point and we're like, oh my goodness, it's not working. I'm going backwards. What is wrong with me? Look at all the people out there who are doing better than me. It's like all of those old, I'm going to use the word demons. You don't have to take that literal, but like come up. And so many times we get discouraged, we feel defeated, we withdraw, we go back. But this is actually the time to stay the course. This is the time to stay in your throne of power. Even if you're like throne power, that doesn't even resonate, just hold that. Just know like, okay, no, this is normal. I'm actually about to have the breakthrough. And I'll share this with you. I've shared this before, but it's coming right now as like an important example. When women are giving birth, for those of you who are moms, or if you have ever had the privilege of being with someone as they give birth. I have had the privilege. I have 5 children. They are now young adults. And so I had them. So I was there during the deliveries of my children, and they were all unmedicated births. I'm not giving any judgment on whether you should use medication or not during birth, but for me, that was the path. And then I was also blessed to be, for different reasons, just like women, friends, or even just women that I was helping, inviting me to be there during their birth. And then last December, I was there when my daughter, my second to oldest daughter, had her first baby. So my grandma, like, what? And so she wanted me there during that birth. And so anyway, I say that all to share that a phenomenon that is very common is really when it's a natural birth or an unmedicated birth, is that right when the baby is actually very close to being born is when women are like, I can't do this anymore. The woman who's in labor. And I remember those moments for me. And with my daughter, that happened. And she, of course, had watched a ton of videos and prepared and all sorts of things. But in a way, nothing can prepare you for it, right? You can prepare, but then you're in it. And she was in that moment. She was in that moment where she was just like, Mom, I don't think this baby's coming out. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. Like, she was just getting into this panic. And I was like, no, Alejandra, you can do it. I can see the baby. It's happening. Because this is what happens with physical birth. It's like in that moment when the baby's actually ready to come out, you literally feel like nothing's happening except pain and suffering. And you feel so stretched and you're just like, I can't do this anymore. And then super quickly after that, the baby's born. It's like this miracle. And so I'm sharing that, not that you're going through giving physical birth right now, but that's what we're doing, death and rebirth. We're giving birth to ourselves. You're giving birth right now to that higher version of yourself as a helper, as a guide, as a way shower, whatever career you have, whether you're a therapist, a coach, whether you're, I have clients who are in marketing, who are lawyers, who are different professions, or even if you're in between careers, the point is you're birthing yourself. And I'm here as a midwife, coming with this message of like, you've got this, you are almost there. Like, just if you can even have the prayer, the intention of like embracing this moment and knowing like, no, this means I'm really close. Like this baby, and who's the baby? You. Like you, the new birth, the rebirth of yourself, because you are so needed in the world. You have such unique medicine, right? I talk about that, your unique soul's medicine. You have this unique medicine that is here to serve the world and that nobody else has. Like literally nobody else has. And it's, again, whenever I say it's a divine assignment, I'm not saying we're better than others. It's just you have a divine assignment. You have an assignment by the divine that you agreed to come help humanity and to bless others. And as you bless others, you are blessed. So that's the main message for today, is really like if you are feeling that, stay the course. If you just did something really brave, stay the course, because that's another thing that can happen. I'll share this really quickly. Often, like maybe you've been building the courage to take a really bold step, whatever it is, and don't compare it to anybody else. First, for you, a bold step might be you set a boundary with somebody, you said no to an invitation, or it might be you left a job to start your own thing, or it might be you went live on YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is. Whatever your bold step is, or you ended it's so interesting. I have several clients right now who are on the verge of just ending relationships, either with loved ones or with clients or with students, just because it's time. And that can bring a lot of old fears. If you had as a child any sort of trauma or wounding around it not being safe to set boundaries, setting boundaries could be one of the most courageous things you do. And so this is what can often happen. You get the courage. Maybe you have a coach or a therapist or whatever it is, or you use your meditation practice, whatever it is, you do it. And you did it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I did it. And then there's a relief, but then you have to stay the course. You gotta hold that boundary. Because this is where I often see what happens. It's like, okay, I told the person, I set the boundary. And it wasn't as bad as I thought. I did it, and they were okay with it. I'm literally coaching several clients through this right now. I'm sorry, I'm turning because there's all these cars coming. It's kind of loud, so I hope you can hear me. And then you can kind of be like, let your guard down, like, rah, okay, I did it. But actually, this after part, like you've gotta, like, I'm thinking Joan of Arc right now is coming to mind, like, hold that banner still of sovereignty. Because the thing is, some people, and I'm not saying this with any judgment, but people in your life who are feeding off of your energy, and you're realizing I need to let them go. Often these people need constant boundary setting. And you can think of it as they come as in a way helpers to help you really embody your power. So you might set the boundary and they're like, okay, I get it, all right. And then the next day they try to push it again. And this is where you need to hold the line. You need to stay the course. Like, I remember this as a teenager. I mean, this is like kind of like a different example, but this is what's coming. It's like I would, be dating some guy. Clearly was so not a fit, but I had a lot of wounding about, around codependency and people pleasing and not wanting to hurt people's feelings and all sorts of things. So breaking up or just kind of saying like, no, I don't want to see you anymore was like excruciating for me. But I remember like when I would finally have the courage to do it and say it and be so relieved, like, oh, okay, I said it, they got it, they said they understood. And the next day they were right there waiting for me to walk me to whatever class. And I would be like, but it's almost like, again, I didn't have the support I needed then. So before you know it, there'd be days again where this person was in my life, right? So that's just like a minor example, but you've got to stay the course. You want to keep holding that banner up of sovereignty. Like, this is what we're all being called to do. Hey, Jill, it's so good to see you here. Yes, Jill saying that's me. Yes, and that's me right now too with lots of things in my life. Where it's like we've got to have the courage to take the step, and then we've got to have the courage after to keep holding that banner. That's the stretch we're going through right now. It's really powerful, but connect with the power of the collective of helpers, of light workers in the world that are going through the same thing as you right now. And they are, and we can, as Jesus said, where two or one are gathered, there I am, the I am presence. And maybe you don't have another person in your life physically right now that is mirroring that to you. Many of us are in that situation right now. But we can connect with a collective of helpers and light workers, and we can connect with those divine beings that are here to support us. So, okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I want to invite you to my free masterclass next Thursday. It's called The Sovereign Shift, Reclaim Your Energy, Reclaim Your Throne. It is Thursday, October 16th. It's 90 minutes long. You get the replay for 7 days. I'm going to go into more depth about what is the sovereign shift? What is the throne I'm talking about? Why is it so essential right now? What is the one identity you're being called to release right now? Sometimes that is just the biggest shift, to know it, to know like, oh, that's the one identity. Like, that's the thing. Because when you release one, you release a bunch of them. Like when you release the one that your soul is actually guiding you to release, a whole bunch of them come with it. So don't feel like it's never ending. That's an ego trick right there. That's like, oh my gosh, it took so long to release this one. I probably have 20 more. No, that's what the ego wants you to believe. But actually, this is a quantum journey. It's not linear. So anyway, would love to see you for that. I've never done a live on YouTube like this. So I don't know what happens after I end this. But I'm assuming somewhere I'll be able to put in the comments the link. But if I don't figure it out, literally just send me a message and I'll send you the link. I used to do lives on Instagram and then they changed the rules. And then this morning I was like, wait, what? Why haven't I been doing lives? I love being able to do a live while I walk around. So anyway, I'm sending you all so much love. You've got this. You're not doing this alone. When I say embrace the pain of the shedding, I don't mean like we're attaching to suffering, right? But I mean like embrace it in the sense that it doesn't mean something has gone wrong. It means you're exactly on the right place. And this is the paradox. The more we embrace it, the less painful it gets. Because I do believe we are being guided to not suffer through, not have pain through this. I know there's the old paradigm, like, okay, for rebirth and transformation, there's always pain. There's always this extreme, like, trust me, I've gone through that. But I also know we're birthing a new way of doing that. Okay, I keep saying I'm going to end and I don't end. Okay, I love you so much, sending you so much love. And subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be, October's my birthday month. And every October, I'm like, okay, this is where I serve more. It's like a expansion of my service and my gifts. And, the portal's open for me to okay, download all the inspiration, all of the higher wisdom. So join me. I'm sending you so much love. Now, if I could figure out how do I end this? Okay, there's not an end button. Okay, I think it's the X. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes, okay.